real sick and tired of Dan Mullen. You know, he promises national championships and SEC championship year one, and he decides to look ahead to Alabama and a national championship type year and bench the number one player in college football, and he got exposed because of it. He's too chicken to bench garbage defensive players like Marco Wilson, the guys like Brad Stewart, who sucked all year, Donovan Steiner, who sucked all year. All you guys should suck all year long. He's too chicken to bench. If Todd Grantham and Dan Mullen don't start fulfilling on these promises that they make coming in, it's time for them to go. I don't care about a record.
So who do you want, Chase? Who do you want to coach your football team?
Somebody who has experience winning and not promising the world at programs and failed to deliver. I mean, Dan Mullen's been a head coach in the SEC for 12 years, and he's only won an SEC divisional championship in 12 years, and that's your resume. That is garbage.
Well, you got to take into consideration where he coached. Nobody's winning conference championships at Mississippi State, and we could be having this conversation 20 years from now, and Mississippi State most likely will not have any conference championships. They don't have one going back to the 1940s. So nobody's winning conference championships at Mississippi State. Now he comes to Florida. This is only his third year, and he's in the SEC championship game after he took over a team that won 4 games. So you could go.
Jim McElwain.
You can fire him.
First 2 years.
Sure.
Jim McElwain first 2 years made it in the SEC championship.
Yeah, I understand. He didn't have a top 5 Georgia team to deal with. He didn't have a team that was stacked with top 3 talent like Georgia. He had a different division to deal with, and he also arrived at those championship games with 4 losses. And I don't think you can really compare the state of Florida football today versus when Jim McElwain was in charge. But that's all well and good. If that doesn't meet your criteria, I get that. I'm just curious as to who you want coaching your team.
I mean, if Mike Tomlin decides to retire out of the NFL, that'd be a good one. The guy's got 150 wins in the league. I mean, we could pull a Nick Saban type, go in and steal one out of the NFL. That's a fantasy world.
Exactly. That's a fantasy world. You're right. That's a fantasy world. The man's 11-1 right now.
In reality, I'd go after a guy like maybe Hugh Freeze, maybe a guy like him. This is a little far-fetched. Maybe an Urban Meyer. That's a way far-fetched one. But a guy like Hugh Freeze would be nice. Somebody that has winning experience. Guys who have winning championship experience, and not winning championship experience from 2006, 2007, 2008. I'm talking modern day experience of winning. I'm talking that level of experience.
Yeah, if you're looking for a coach that's won a national championship, there's not too many of those guys walking around. There's like 4 of them.
It doesn't have to be national championship. It could be conference championship.
Okay.
Just guys who produce hardware. Today's football, hardware talks. And when you can't produce it, whenever you promise year one, SEC championships, Heisman trophies, and national championships, and you ceiling out a pretty good.
Did he
2 to 3 losses a year?
Did he give a date on those? Did he set a deadline?
He said by year one, we were going to have national championships, SEC championships, year in and year out. And has he produced that? Nope. He's let teams run all over him with talent that probably coached well enough to go head-to-head with the best teams in the nation. I mean, you take a guy like Mike Tomlin, it's a fantasy, but I'm just saying you take a guy like him, he put Trask in winnable situations, like he's done with Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, well, there's been 2 and 3. There's
he fixed our defense.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers now for like 13 seasons. And so he's had his ups and downs as well.
Yeah, but overall, the guy's got 150-some wins. He's one of the winningest head coaches in franchise history.
Yeah, and Dan Mullen's one of the winningest coaches in college football over the last 3 years. How many teams have a better record than Dan Mullen over the last 3 years? How many?
150-some wins.
How many?
29 is a pretty big gap.
How many teams have a better record than Florida in the last 3 years? Maybe 4?
How many teams?
Maybe 4?
Maybe.
Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia's right about there.
But out of those, which ones produce hardware? Which ones produce actual hardware of divisional titles, conference titles, and national titles?
All of the ones I just mentioned.
Except for Florida. That ought to tell you something.
All right.
I mean,
well, I'm going to take some of these other calls, but I appreciate it, Chase. I would love to know who you're going to get besides Dan Mullen other than Mike Tomlin, because I don't think he's going to leave an NFL job to mess around with 20-year-old kids.
Well, the same could be said about Nick Saban whenever he was in the NFL.
Nick Saban Nick Saban was 2 games under 500 with the Miami Dolphins, and he saw a better opportunity. Mike Tomlin's 11-1 right now. All right, Sea Dog West. Mississippi State won a division before Dan Mullen coached there. Yes, I fully understand that. I was there. I went to every game that season at Mississippi State in 1998. That Mississippi State team went 8-5. They weren't that good. It was a horrible division at the time. This was not the SEC West of 2020. This was the SEC West of 1998, where Bama was just getting off probation and nobody really was any good in the division. And Mississippi State lost 5 games. They didn't even finish in the top 25 that year. So, yes, they won a division championship. I said Mississippi State has not won an SEC championship since I believe the year was 1942, sometime in the 40s. And it was their only one.
We won the national championship of shoe tossing,
Yeah, it's unfortunate that a game is basically decided not on who's a better football team or the better football players are out there, who executed, who tried harder, all that stuff, but that dumb play had to be made by that knucklehead Marco. That was Marco Wilson, right? Yeah.
Marco Wilson, his brother's Quincy Wilson. He's in the NFL. His dad was in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's exactly like MT and Travis Etienne going out of bounds. I believe to get in the NFL, you have to prove your loyalty to following a script or doing as you're told. There's no way that was a random accident. I'll never buy it. I'm not going to go there. It's kind of conspiracy theory, but you just, he never did that in high school or did it before in his life, but he did it today with the game on the line,
Yes, I'm not gonna speculate on why anyone would do something that asinine and stupid.
Right. No reason to go there. I'm just glad we have football. We've had our fun. I'm happy for LSU. Last night in your chat section, I told everybody 1,000 times, you're insane if you talk shit about LSU. They're always top 6 or top 8. They never, ever go below top 10 on talent. So, people should be talking about their own team, not LSU. And irregardless of the shoe throwing incident, if you're in such a tight game with LSU on a year they're having this kind of a trouble they're having, if throwing that shoe costs us the game, if we deserve to lose anyway, we should have beat them by 30 or something. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we had the conversation this week with David Waters from Gators Breakdown, and that was the first thing I asked him. I said, if you just looked at the talent on the two rosters, it's pretty similar. So that's got to be a somewhat of a concern, even though LSU's been kind of a mess this year.
That way, Mark. That's why I love them guys so much, man. And the reason I give Georgia people crap is because they never step up and grab that gold ring when they have a chance. You know, but LSU does. They'll win the whole darn thing. Give them a break, just one break, you know.